So as I said in the earlier videos, that I'll be moving step by step, topic by topic, and I'll be teaching you according to how lecturers want their answers to be phrased, or how you want you to bring out answers to their questions. So in this video, I'm going to talk about domain of composite functions. So let's say we've got fx is equal to root x minus 2 and gx is equal to 3x minus 1. We are told, okay, find the domain of graph. So instead of obviously finding graph first and then at the end you find whether there's a possibility of it being undefined, we can simply just find the domain of, also always start with the second one. So in this case, f of x in golf is second. So you start with f of x. So you say, okay, what cannot work in f of x? So we get x minus 2. So we've seen that there's a root on top of it. There's a root, so we know, okay, this cannot be greater than or equal to 0, because what we don't want are negatives here, because if it's a negative quotient like -1, we're going to find I want to get -3. So what we want are positive numbers. So we'll see that x here should be greater than or equal to 2, because we put 2 here, we get 0, we put 3 here, we get 1, we put 4 here, we get 1, which is okay. This is our first part, and then we see if this will work in g of x. So simply say in g of x, so it's going to be 3. And remember, when finding golf, we're supposed to put f of x in g of x. So we can say f of x minus 1 minus 1. So we see if this would work in this. And we can see so far that, as well as in here, the only problem here is if we put anything less than 2, it will be undefined. So in this case, we have our domain. So our domain is equal to x is a member of real number such that x is greater than or equal to 2. Everything greater than or equal to 2 would work in this situation. That's why I was saying, okay, the domain is x, it should be greater than or equal to 2. Now let's try this other one. Just clear all. Now let's say we are told to find the domain of fog. Domain of fog. X, domain of fog. So if I say we always start with the second one. So in this case, our second one is g of x. So we'd say, okay, what cannot work in g of x? In g of x, so we see that anything can work. You can put anything here and your answer will get, it will be defined. So then you move on and say, okay, now we can find f of g. Now we can find fog. So to find fog, we do the usual. We put what is x in f of x, we put g of x. So it's going to be x plus x minus 4 minus 3, everything over, again, x plus x minus 4. Okay, so to simplify this, would say, again, this would be minus 1, so would say 4, and 1 into 4, that's 4, it becomes 4x plus 1 becomes x minus 1, x minus 4, everything minus 3 over, well, this is division, so these two kind of switch. So we just said divide by, this goes step by step, divide by x plus x minus 4 over 4. The quantity of this is going to be 5 minus 5x minus 4 over 4 minus 3 and 3 will get the result times these two switch, you get 4 over x plus x minus 4. Go ahead, hold on this one. I have to simplify this side first. This is what, simplify this side first before we can do that. So that will be times question divide. So divide is going to be 4x plus x minus 4. Go to this side, we got 1. So let's deal with this side first. Get 4. 4 into 4, 1. Got 5x minus 4. 1 into 4, that's 4. 4 times 3, that's 12. That is 12. And then we can get the times 4 over, this is 5x minus 5. You can see that this cancels out. And here 5x and negative 4 minus 12, that's going to be negative 16 over 5x minus 5. So now we're finding the domain of this one. All we need to do is just get this part and say, okay, 5x minus 5 should not be equal to 0. Otherwise it will be undefined. So in this case we'll say, okay, 5x should not be equal to, change the 5 to the other side, becomes positive, or 5 over 5, x should not be equal to 1. So you can see that in this situation everything can work apart from 1. We can put 2 here, it would work. can put 80, we can put 10, we can put negative numbers, it will be okay. But if you put 1 here, this will become undefined. And even if we want to have g, want to do the same in g of x, we can put anything here and our situation would be okay. The situation would be okay. Here the only problem we'd have is when I've started to find maybe g of x, g of f of x. So we'd see that if we start with this one, we know that if x is 0, it will be undefined. So already we've got our first part of the domain, which is x should not be equal to 0. Then we see if this would work in here, and we can see that it would. Anything else would fit properly here, and we find our domain would be x should not be equal to 0. And that's it for this video.